Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you all doing? My name's Amanda Ellis, and a very warm welcome to my channel. Today's date is the 15th of February, and there are a number of things that I would like to be reading on right now. I did actually put a poll up on my community page asking what you would like me to do next, and I'm not forgetting that. I will take note of it. I see this morning that I think 40% of people want a reading on RFK Jr., the fact he's now been confirmed. 28% of you wanted this video that I'm about to do on earth changes and the grid lines activating and firing up. And I'm putting that first, actually. I'm making an executive decision to bring that first to you because I actually feel it's very, very important and it's a timely message. I think 16% of you wanted a read on the UK situation, particularly with regards to our government and Keir Starmer and the direction that we're going in. A lot of real difficulty in the UK at the moment, but I'm aware also in many other countries as well. And I think a number of you also wanted a Heart Squad video. I'll probably do all of them, and that's just touching the surface. There's so much going on, and I am receiving downloads on a lot of things. But this is the subject that Spirit are asking me to talk about again today. And I'm saying again because my last video, I think it was my last video or my last but one video, was linking into the Atlantean energy. I was talking about the number of quakes and tremors that are occurring around the Greek island of Santorini. It's now spreading to other Greek islands. And I was talking about the fact that this may very well be one of the prime sites where Atlantis used to sit. And we may very well see landmass starting to rise, certainly change shape and look and appearance through this year and beyond, as has happened before there. But yeah, I was talking about the rise of this Atlantean energy again, which is dormant within all of us. And then after I did that video, I was tuning into my crystal skull again, which I've shown you, quite a new addition to my toolkit really. And I put my hand upon it the other day and I heard this. What it said was terra firma filaments. Terra firma filaments. And I understood that what it was saying, of course, terra firma is earth. Filaments are these sort of thread-like structures, is a very simplistic way to put it. But that was also what I was being shown. Ribbons, threads. And then I understood what I was really being shown, and what it was saying was it was talking about the grid lines that are all over our planet. Now, that's a whole subject in itself, but very much like, okay, this is the analogy Metatron's giving me, very much like our human body isn't just made up of our chakra system, isn't just made up of the organs within our body, or the skin or the hair, etc. There are a number of meridian lines within our body that connect everything up to everything else. So if you hurt a particular part of your body, that will also be connected into a particular organ or another part of you. So the meridian lines are within us, but there are meridian lines all across Mother Earth. And what I'm being shown is the superhighway. It's interesting because we hear the superhighway linked into the internet and telecommunications. And I'm seeing the globe lit up, and we know that the globe is already lit up with regards to telecommunication cables and lines that literally fire up our grid. But over and beyond that, which is a man-made structure, there are these meridians, or another word would be channels, threads, ribbons that connect all of the different countries, all of the different continents, the north and south hemisphere, the oceans, the land, the air, the earth, to each other, okay? So very much like we are all interconnected, every part of Earth is interconnected. And of course, we are connected to Earth itself. So terra firma filaments. What has this got to do with Atlantis? What has this got to do with volcanoes? What has this got to do with what you were talking about last time? It's got everything to do with it. Because what I am seeing now, and what we are seeing, is activity beyond the norm with regards to earthquakes, volcanoes. We haven't seen tsunamis yet, but that's a potentiality as well. But particularly the energy of earth and fire. Okay, so volcano and earth movement. As I say, above the norm, because it is normal for Earth to always be purging to a degree, for there to be an earthquake happening somewhere or an earth tremor somewhere, certainly. The plates are always moving. But yet we live upon this earth, and we think often, and we forget, that she is a living and breathing being like we are. And the activity, put it this way, is higher than normal with regards to her movements. I'm hearing her nocturnal movements in particular, which is interesting. And now I haven't tracked that. I don't know whether there's any evidence to support what I've just said there, but I'm hearing nocturnal movements. And very much like when we sleep at night, or we don't, and we're up 4 times a night, because we are affected by the moon or the Schumann resonance or the collective consciousness, which is in angst and turmoil. Mother Earth herself seems to be doing a lot of movement in the night time. Now, the thing, of course, is that in different parts of the globe, it's either daytime or nighttime. So I'm just hearing that. I'm just going to bookmark that because it might mean something in the future. Nocturnal movements. And yes, I actually then started to have a look at what is actually occurring upon Mother Earth. And then I received some information in terms of why this is happening, over and above what we've already said, over and above what we understand scientifically that Mother Earth has to do from time to time. Yeah? So first off, let's have a look at the activity that is ongoing. Now, I wrote these notes a couple of days ago. They might be a little bit out of date, but not that much out of date. Around Santorini, continuing earth tremors. I said in my last video that was going to carry on through 2025, and I really do believe that is going to be so. And I wouldn't be booking a holiday there this year if that's what you've planned. I mean, if you do, you might be lucky, but there's going to be uncertainty through the whole year with regards to the Greek islands. Now, I say that having been to Crete last year and absolutely loving it and intend to go back. So I just think that wherever we are visiting upon planet Earth through this year, and probably not just this year, for the next few years, we're just going to have to be mindful that what we want isn't what we always are going to get. So if you sense that there is a particular higher risk in terms of going somewhere, I think you need to be listening to your higher self, is really what I'm saying, okay? But anyway, yeah, so increasing activity around Santorini, which is not dying off anytime soon. Many people think it's building into something that could be quite big, and I felt that that was what would happen as well. And by that, I'm talking about volcanic activity, possible tsunami, hopefully not to the degree that's going to cause huge devastation. But I did answer one of you actually, who I think it was on a different point. You were saying, what can we do? Oh no, you were saying that you had actually been trying to send prayers. I think it was there, or maybe it was somewhere else. And normally your prayers or your grid work, your ceremonial work to, I don't know, balance the earth or bring rain or cool the fire, whatever it is you're trying to do, you get a sense that it's working. And you said to me, it's something along the lines of, it's really weird. It's as though I'm not allowed to go there and touch it. And I said to you, yeah, that's because Mother Earth has to do what she's going to do. And this is true not just with regards to Santorini, it's true for many other places around our Earth. And I'm also being drawn to USA as well, because there are a swarm of tremors and quakes also happening in USA as well. We'll come to that in a moment. In fact, I've written down here, I think this was yesterday or the day before, California had 7 earthquakes in less than 24 hours, centred around, I don't know any of these places. Put your hands up if you're there. Hayward, Petrolia. Petrolia, I believe, is along the San Andreas fault line. And the San Andreas fault basically usually has a large quake roughly every 140 years. It hasn't had one for 144 years. So it's sort of overdue. And I'm not telling you anything you don't already know if you're living along it. But again, there is this sort of energy with the human race, which is to do with negotiation, bartering. It's not going to happen. It will happen if Mother Earth needs it to happen, to purge, release, move. Okay. So again, years ago, I remember saying something about there are going to be particular parts of the United States that are going to become more I can't speak today. You're not going to be able to live there, basically. There will be movement. There will be movement out of particular places. And I think we are entering times soon where that may happen. So again, I'm just saying to you, trust your gut. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. If you just get a feeling, for example, to not be somewhere on a particular day, or to not take a trip on a particular day, or to not buy a piece of land, and you can't really explain it, but it just doesn't feel right, trust your gut. It's also true to say that whatever Mother Earth does in terms of purging and cleansing, if you are meant to if you're contracted to remain here on Mother Earth, you're going to remain on Mother Earth. And if you've already contracted to exit at some particular point, you will exit at some particular point. I really truly believe that. And okay, it's easy for me to say, sitting here in the UK, I'm not on a fault line, but actually, interestingly, even in the UK, we've had, I believe, 31 minor little tremors and earthquakes since January. That's unheard of, really unheard of. I mean, I haven't felt anything, but I think it's more up north it's happening. But it just goes to show that wherever you are on the planet, go back to these filaments, the threads, the web, the superhighway. We are all connected. So if something kicks off on the other side of the world from where you are going to feel it in some shape or form. You're certainly going to feel it energetically if you're an empath. You're certainly going to feel unbalanced, maybe ungrounded. You might be picking up collective fear, which is happening in a different hemisphere from you. And of course, this isn't new. Many of us already sense this. I myself, I usually can pick up when there is going to be like a really big earthquake or volcano or something like that. I seem to be very tuned into that. But I can't really explain how that happens. I just feel it. It's like a knowingness. And I'm not alone, of course. There are many of us that feel tuned in to Mother Earth's vibrations. And I think these times that we're in, and we'll come back to this grid that's lighting up with activity, I think it's there to also teach us to connect deeper to Gaia, to remember that we are part of her. And I'm being shown the energy of a whale, and I'll come to the whale in a moment because I want to say something about the story of the guy who was swallowed by a humpback whale, because I'm tying that into the story of Jonah. I'll do that later in this video. But I'm being shown a humpback whale, or it could be anything. It could be a camel. Let's talk about a camel. So I've not been on a camel, but I imagine if you're on a camel, you feel every blinking movement, of that beast, that beautiful animal just moving, and you're like this and you're like that, and it's like you can be thrown off very easily. But equally, there's a lovely children's story called The Snail on the Whale. Do you know it? By Julia Donaldson. And in that story, I think it is to do with the fact there's this little snail, which would be us, who travels all over the world quite safely on the back of a humpback whale. And why does that snail not fall off? I guess it's also to do with that snail being in tune with the whale, and the whale being in tune with the water. everything being lined up, everything being in harmony with each other. So it's learning basically to be with Mother Earth rather than controlling her or trying to dictate how she behaves. I'm also being shown in my mind's eye now, I know we're going slightly off track, but not really, I'll come back to the earthquakes in a moment, but I'm being shown dams and where in certain countries, and I know this has happened in Spain, for example, it's one of the reasons, this terrible flooding, not the only reason, I know, but a lot of the dams, have just been I don't know what they've done to them. They've closed them, or what do you do with a dam? Block it up or something. It's like water needs to find an outlet. So anything that we're doing to prevent proper drainage or flow, and I'd even go so far as to say, people who are building just concrete, they're concreting over their gardens. What that's meaning is there's nowhere for the rain to sink into, so we just get streets that are awash with water. So it's just indicative of the fact that we're taking actions which might seem very insignificant. And what does it matter if I do that and have a concrete garden? I don't want to have grass anymore because that means I've got to mow it every day. But over and beyond the appearance or being able to park your car on a driveway, it's to do with actually your little bit of land needs drainage. Okay, so it's that type of thing. It's just becoming more at one with Mother Earth, so we're understanding her needs as well as our own. And maybe there is a compromise to be had. Maybe half of your garden can be paved and the other half can be grass, for example. It's that type of thing. Anyway, let's go back to our list of activity that's going on around the world. So yeah, Santorini, California, watching what's going on with the San Andreas Fault. Mount Etna, which is the tallest volcano in Europe, is erupting again. There is a volcano in Alaska called Mount Spur, which is on a yellow warning, which doesn't sound too bad, but the chance of that blowing, I think they're saying, is about 50-50. But if that blows, that changes the landscape significantly, and it obviously also changes the air quality significantly. That would be huge if the Alaskan volcano did erupt. I'm not saying it's going to, but again, I'm going back to the fact that what the skull is showing me is that the meridians, the grid lines across Mother Earth, which connect up all of these different volcanoes, connect up all the different parts of Mother Earth, they're all talking to each other. They're all agitated. It's a bit like when you go into a forest, and if you understand trees and how trees talk to each other and how trees support each other, trees do that. So in a forest, the weaker tree that needs more nutrient or water or whatever will be getting that from a stronger tree that is beside it. There is a sharing that goes on amongst trees in a forest, and they talk to each other. I'm also being shown the animal kingdom. If you've got a dog, you've only got to get one dog barking in your street, and if your dog's in the garden, it sets off a whole chain reaction, because the animals can talk to each other, the trees can talk to each other. King Charles got mocked 30 years ago because he talked about the fact we could talk to the trees. He was right, we can. So this is all connected. All this activity at the moment centered around volcanoes, earth tremors, earthquakes that are bubbling up. It's because the grid line is hot. I'm hearing it's hot. It's activated. It's also angry. And I'm going to talk about the anger in a moment. But where else have we seen activity? I mean, this is literally only in the last week or so. There was a quake in Morocco, one in Slovakia, the Caribbean had one, Hawaii, the Chilli, I can't pronounce it. One of the volcanoes in Hawaii is erupting. Indonesia is on alert level 4, and in fact, I think it has erupted. Mount Laki. Australia, the Vanuatu Islands, there was an earthquake on the 10th of February, which was this Monday. It's just all feels like it's kicking off. Why is it kicking off over and above the fact that Mother Earth has to purge, and it is normal for volcanoes to go off from time to time and all of that? Why all of a sudden is this whole grid line lighting up? We're in a number 9 year. Okay, now I've explained in previous videos that number 9 is about lots of things, but one of the things that 9 is linked to is Mars. It's a fiery, masculine energy. And so we've got a lot of fire energy right now coming up. And I feel as though it doesn't take a brain surgeon to say, look around the world and see the hatred. Look around the world and see the division and the separation and the boiling over of tempers. I mean, my God, social media is just a cesspit at the moment. Thank you so much, my community, for keeping it fairly balanced. Most people that come to my channel are very respectful. I mean, I've kicked out a lot of people who weren't, let's make no bones about it. But, the ones that are here, thank you very much. And by the way, if I have ever blocked you, I always have an open door back. All it takes is for you to send an email in to say, I'm sorry, and you're back in. I don't hold grudges. That's one thing about me. I never hold grudges. Or even if you don't know why you were blocked, I've probably forgotten why you were blocked. This is the whole point, because I want to talk also about the energy of forgiveness. Because this thing about hatred that is spilling over, it's so toxic. It is being reflected with regards to what's happening in our earth. Because where do you think all that hatred and all that division goes? It has to go somewhere. It has to be transmuted. Because what I've written down here, did I write it down? Let me close my eyes to remember what came through. Yeah, it was something linking into, let me go back to it. So imagine you are the earth. Imagine just for a moment that you are Mother Earth, that you are Gaia. You're not John, you're not Fred, you're not Amanda, you're not Sylvia. You are Mother Earth. And you are holding everything that is upon her. The oceans, the forests, all of the people, all of the landmass. And we have countries fighting each other. We have people tearing strips out of each other for one wrong thing that is being said. I hate you, I'm off, all of this type of stuff. So much hatred. Mother Earth is literally in despair. It's like, what do I do with this energy? Because we know that she is a living being. And we know, and I've talked about a lot, the work of somebody like Dr. Masaru Emoto, who taught about the consciousness of water. And Mother Earth is a blue planet. She has a huge quantity of water within her and upon her, because we are 70% water. Okay, so she's got all this contaminated water, not just in the seas, but the contaminated water that is within you and me when we are hanging on to hatred or judgment or division. And she is drowning in it. She doesn't know what to do with it, because the waters need to be more balanced. So it has to be purged somehow. And I feel as though the fire element is coming forward to say, I will help you to release some of this. And I'm now being shown Mother Earth, and it's as though there is a tap underneath her. I mean, not literally, but it's like there's a tap. And when she, whether it's a quake, whether it's a tsunami, whether it's a volcano, she's allowed to, breathe, put down some of the burden that she's been carrying, because she's carrying all of our hatred, and it's making her polluted and toxic over and above the fact that we might be putting plastic into her or anything else. It's our emotions in particular that are polluting her and killing her, I'm hearing, destroying her. And she won't allow that to happen, basically. If she has to have a moment where she throws us all off, she'll throw us all off to survive. She doesn't want to do that though, okay? So she's trying to release in the only way she can, and she's trying to get our attention so that more people see that, hold on a minute, there's this activity here, and there's also stuff going on here and here and here, and the grid is being lit up. The grid is literally being lit up with fire. But this fire which comes through volcano is a purging fire, it's a releasing fire. And I'm seeing in the lava and the flames that come, which may already be happening or maybe about to come, there is this beautiful phoenix that rises. The phoenix just rises, and that phoenix has been laying dormant within these volcanoes. It's just trapped at the moment, but it has to be allowed to be released. So it's beautiful, actually. I'm seeing through the purging of fire and also the movement of earth, the release of energy, we get this beautiful phoenix energy rising above earth, and we get this tap which just is able to release all of this toxicity. Now, what happens to what's going out of the tap? Maybe I don't need to know that, but my mind has sort of gone there. So let me just see if I can get an answer on that. I'm hearing you don't really need to know that. Okay, I've gone into my mind. Okay, that's it's a universal. It's a universal energy that's there. It's almost like there's a mop-up crew, I'm hearing. There is a mop-up crew. There are beings in our universe. This is really interesting. There are beings in our universe whose job it is to mop up the spills and the environmental disasters and the leakage from planets. And this is galactic. This isn't just Mother Earth. It's literally like, they are like galactic beings, but they don't have I don't feel they have a physical body form. They're different from how I've seen galactic beings before. They're more, I don't know how to describe them. It's more, they're like a fluid type shape that is shifting and changing. They're silver in colour. It's like they're like a filter system. It's like a filter system. But they work for the filter system, but they are the filter system, and they're there to also mop up debris from dying planets and dying stars. And they don't want our planet to be a dying star. They want our planet to be a living, vibrant planet for many, many eons hence, because Mother Earth is important. She's important because she's a master teaching planet. She's a planet where souls queue up to come here and learn the lessons. And I feel as though there is just this higher light, I want to call it today. You can call it God, universal law, whatever you want to call it. Goddess energy, which is just very frustrated at us, at our screaming at each other, at our tantrums, at our inability to listen to each other, that we are just not getting it. And because we are not getting it, Mother Earth has got to do something with this built up energy. It's like there are so many people walking around like mini volcanoes. So, you see the massive volcano erupting, but equally you see the individual volcano erupting in so many people right now. And as I always say, we just have to work on our own stuff. So something you can do to help Mother Earth is to see yourself as an energetic being, which you are. You're not just, the physical you are the energetic you. To ask for release in a safe, sustained way that isn't going to cause too much disharmony in your body, to release the toxicity, the hate, the anger, the lack of understanding, the inability to listen, to release it safely, please. And I do think working with the silver ray would be very helpful. So, yeah, because it's interesting. The silver ray with Metatron, we've got two different silver bottles. One is about spiritual protection. It's literally a spiritual protection spray. But also silver is the crown chakra. So two silver bottles. Doesn't matter which one I'm hearing, but just working with the silver ray. So let's just do that now. So I'm just spraying some silver over my crown, but also I'm spraying it at my feet. You can't see that, but I'm just spraying it underneath my feet as well. Just asking to be surrounded by that silver light, for that silver light to filter out that which is detrimental to me and will create disharmony within my body. But equally for the silver light to act a bit like, I'm being shown like a plug underneath the Earth Star chakra. The Earth Star chakra is underneath our feet, and I'm feeling that underneath that Earth Star chakra there is a plug. It's a bit like when you overwater a plant. I have not got green fingers like my dad, I tell you. I'm really good at killing plants. I really wish I wasn't. Okay, cancel, clear, delete. I want to be somebody that is able to grow plants beautifully. But I tend to overwater them. It's like I'm overwatering them, I'm sure they are. And then you pick them up and these poor plants, they're just drowning in water. They've gone all yellow. So why am I talking about this? Because we are a bit like that plant who our roots need to be allowed to sort of dry out. I'm just seeing this plug underneath our rooting system, which is our Earth Star chakra. Just allow that plug just to be released from time to time for any gunge, any goo that's been caught up in your rooting system to just be washed through. Yeah. And then you put back in your pot, the plug's put back on, and you're fine. The plug is really an anchor more than anything. But it has to be done under the guidance of the silver ray. And I would also call in Archangel Metatron for that. So I think working with this silver ray is going to be really important. And of course, the other thing with silver is it is a mirror. It's a mirror that reflects back to us our own actions, our own behaviour, what we've said, how we've behaved, how that might have made somebody else feel. Would we like it done to us, etc. Do as you would be done to is one of the big things for me with regards to Christ consciousness. Do as you would be done to. And if we all tried every day to be more like that, the world, the fire lines, the meridian lines across our planet, which are just like red and angry and inflamed, it's more inflamed than anything, would start to calm down and balance more, okay? But I do feel that we're in a time frame which is quite critical right now, and I'm going to tell you why that is. I mean, there's lots of reasons, but you know me, I call myself the spiritual detective from time to time. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but there's a bit of a truth to it. I just see stories in the news, and it's like I can see the meaning behind it all. Did you hear about the guy off the coast of Chile this week? He's called Adrian Samancas, and he was swallowed. He was kayaking. And this is your worst nightmare. He was kayaking in the sea, minding his own business or not. I don't know what he was doing. He was kayaking, and he was swallowed into the mouth of a huge humpback whale. Yeah. And he actually recounts how slimy it felt, being in the mouth of this big beast, And of course, you'd think he'd be dead, wouldn't you? The whale spat him out. And I straight away thought, oh my God, isn't that a story in the Bible? Jonah and the whale. So I looked it up. And yes, I'm going to remind you what the story of Jonah and the whale is, because it's deeply symbolic for these times. And the reason why the grid lines are so inflamed, the answer to it is forgiveness. I did pull some cards, and I'll tell you what they are in a moment, but let me just get to the Jonah story, because I find this fascinating. So just to remind you, because it's quite a long time ago that I ever read about Jonah in the Bible, but I did used to do so as a little girl. So Jonah tried to run away from God in the opposite direction of Nineveh and headed by boat to Tarshish, excuse my pronunciation. Anyway, God sent a great storm upon the ship, and the men decided that Jonah was to blame. So he's basically running in the opposite direction from God. Yeah, they go into a boat, a huge storm whips up, and the men who are on the boat decide that Jonah was to blame. So they threw him overboard, and as soon as they tossed Jonah into the sea, the storm stopped. God then sent a big fish, some call it a whale, to swallow Jonah and to save him from drowning. While in the belly of the big fish, Jonah prayed to God for help. He repented and he praised God. For 3 days, Jonah sat in the belly of the whale. And then God had the whale throw up Jonah onto the shores of Nineveh. Jonah, which is where God wanted him to go in the first place, but Jonah hadn't wanted to go. Jonah preached to the people there and warned them to repent before the city would be destroyed in 40 days. The people believed Jonah, they turned from their wickedness, God had mercy on them, and the city was not destroyed. Jonah, however, then became angry and bitter because God did not destroy the city, who were Israel's enemy. When Jonah sat to rest, God provided a vine to give him shade. The next day, God sent a worm to eat the vine. Jonah now sat in the hot sun, complaining and wanting to die. God called out to Jonah and scolded him for being so concerned and worried about a plant, while God was concerned with the heart condition and lives of the wider number of people who lived in the city where he had been asked to go. It's something to do with, it's a story of forgiveness, it's a story of redemption, and it's also a story about turning away from wickedness, basically. And I really think that we're in days of Sodom and Gomorrah again. I just think that the planet right now, the scale of wickedness and evil is very, very high. So I just think there's something in that story. Again, it's symbolic. I'm not saying the guy was Jonah, but Adrian Simancas, he's swallowed by a humpback whale. He thinks he's dead. He can remember being in its slimy mouth. Okay, he wasn't there for 3 days, but the whale just spits him out. I think it's a bit of a warning. And I think also the story of Jonah is a story of forgiveness. Now, this energy of forgiveness and the grid lines, off camera a couple of days ago, because this video has been brewing for a couple of days, I got the message from my skull about the terra firma filaments, the threads, the meridians, the channels. I could see the grid lighting up with all this red activity. And so I went to a deck called the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and I pulled a card with regards to what does this all mean? And I'll tell you what's going to blow your mind. The card that came up is card number 45. Now 4 and 5 make 9. So 9, we're back to the fire energy again, yeah? And it says repairing the veil, forgiveness. Repairing the veil. To me, I'm also hearing repairing the meridians. It's a bit like what I'm being shown now by Spirit is, when I say Spirit, I mean Metatron. What Metatron show me is repairing the veil, repairing the meridians. It's a bit like the arteries in the body. When our arteries in our body get clogged by too much, fat or whatever it is, or calcified, they get restricted. There are certain things that can help to clean them out. So what can help to clean out the meridian lines of Mother Earth right now that are inflamed and wanting to pop and burst? They're at their limit with regards to the red, angry energy that's rushing through them from town to town, from city to city, from person to person. You think what you say to another doesn't matter. It does. It's all stored somewhere. What helps clean all that out is the energy of forgiveness. Repairing the veil could very much be repairing the meridians, repairing the connections between us as well. So what this card says is, between us all is a thin veil appearing to be a space that separates us. We work through this veil and believe ourselves to be distinct from each other. We assume that our thoughts and our feelings are our own. We see bodies and objects and the spaces between them. So we engage the world in relationships between a duality of us and them. This veil serves as a mysterious illusion, making it so hard to believe in our inherent connection and unity. We can't always remember that what we do to someone else, we at the same time do to ourselves. When we claw at the veil, out of fear, anger, jealousy, or resentment, manipulate another, misuse our power, or allow someone's actions to diminish us, we create a wound felt by many, not just those of us in the smaller, direct relationship. Now is the time to examine where your actions have caused difficulty or harm someone else, and also where you have been the recipient of harm. Regardless of what side you are on, it's important to take responsibility for healing this rift by bringing love, compassion, deep listening, and presence to whatever is not in harmony. Do this for you and for your own liberty, as you become an unwitting hostage once you take the role of perpetrator or victim, both positions of weakness. Let go of your resentment, know your part in the dynamic, and make the appropriate amends with that newfound wisdom and understanding. Healing, forgiveness, and mending what is broken in your world is a sweet, much-needed declaration of freedom. It starts with us. Those words are so powerful. I could do a whole video just on this card. Maybe I will at some point. This is so profound. I'd almost like you to go back and re-listen to what I just read. I don't know how to convey this more than I already have. And believe you me, I'm not chastising you when I say these things, because I am listening to myself as well. I am listening what's coming through from higher planes. We all have work to do on ourselves. It's what we say and what we do. The online world is just as much a part of the world as the physical world. I'm so saddened to see some of the comments recently on some of my friends' channels as well. Such hatred, just because they dare to say something that is different from what the person expects them to say. That you are different to me, you hold a different position to me. Or the hatred that is being directed at our leaders, whatever you feel about them. Hate begets hate. Love begets love. These are basic levels of understanding that we need to get to. And we are not getting it as a species. We're just not. And that's why these grid lines are firing up. And then we see the volcano or the earthquake or the tsunami, and we think, oh, this is being done to us. We are helping to create these scenarios by not living in harmony with each other. And because we're not living in harmony with each other, we're not in harmony with Mother Earth. Mother Earth is out of harmony. She just wants peace. She wants unity. She wants us to put down our sides. So these are some of the messages that I'm getting. But yeah, definitely that Jonah thing, I really feel that's profound as well. So look for these things that are happening in our world. The other thing I want to say about the whales as well is this imbalance with regards to the meridian system and the channels across our world is creating a lot of disturbances for the sonar communications, so the whales not being able to communicate in the way that they used to be able to communicate or navigate, the same with birds in the sky, all of that. But it's all a reflection of our inability to be able to communicate with each other as well. So when our ability to not be able to communicate to each other civilly and respectfully and to be able to listen is not met, it's going to be reflected in all other forms of communication, which we see witnessed in the animal world as well. So let's just see if there's any other messages that want to come through. I will just show you the forgiveness card from the Christ Consciousness deck. This is my Christ Consciousness deck. And this card is pretty deep. If you really look at this card and you really feel into its energy, it's pretty deep. It's a barricade. It's barbed wire. It's two enemies embracing across the barbed wire and being able to connect at some level to something that unites them, even though they may have vastly different opinions on much else. But somehow they're able to find the common ground and they embrace. And it says, forgiveness sets you free. And I'm very drawn to the Middle East as I'm talking about that. The big disagreements, which is put it mildly, in our world between different factions, different religions, different people. Wrongs on both sides, rights on both sides, the rights for both sides to just somehow try to get to this place. So just spending a moment just to send some peace out to the Middle East, please, in this video. We don't need comments linking into either side being right or wrong. Let's just send some peace out to the Middle East. Let's send some peace out to Ukraine, Russia. Let's send some peace out to Europe. Let's send some peace out to Asia. Let's send some peace out to Africa. Let's send some peace out to America, North America. To the North Hemisphere. To the South Hemisphere. To our neighbour. To our enemy. There don't need to be any enemies. Believe that we can peacefully coexist with each other. Sending that message across Mother Earth into her meridian lines. The energy of peace. But forgiveness sets us free. At some point, the two opposing camps, and this is not about a specific country or countries, it's all of us. We have to get to a place of forgiveness. The truth is that all countries have got something in their back catalogue that probably isn't great. The truth is that every single leader has probably got something in their back catalogue that is not great. The truth is that you and I have probably got something in our back catalogue that is not great. We have to get to a place of being able to forgive each other. And you do that by starting to see the godlike energy within every living being on this planet. And yes, that is every living being on this planet. But humankind, we're so set up and still wanting to play the game of duality, which is you are right, I am wrong, you are good, I am bad. If we could get to a place where we started to understand from a soul level that we're all actually playing roles. And as I've said before in previous duality videos, we will one day get to a place, not there yet, we will one day get to a place where we start to understand all of the different roles and we put down our swords and the game is over. But I understand the part you played in getting us here. I understand the part you played in helping me learn that. I understand the part you played. I understand the part that you played. Okay, just see if there's any final messages wanting to come through in this video. Okay, so any other guidance, please, for the people watching, linking into all of the activity upon Mother Earth. Oh, thank you. Okay, yes, just reminding me of something that I had a painting for years sitting behind me. I've still got it, but it's over there. If I was more technically adept, I'd be able to now whiz my camera around to show you, but I'll just explain it, what it is. Most of you know what it is. It's a big painting of Metatron. It's the first one I ever got done by Jane. And it shows him, and underneath him are the colours of the elements. And he is holding the earth in a Merkaba. He's holding the earth in a Merkaba. And it's just a reminder that we will not be allowed to destroy this planet. This planet is protected. But equally, with all this change and instability upon her, if we can imagine our planet in its own Merkaba. And we can fill that Merkaba with the energy of unity, love, peace, harmony, balance, etc. It's going to really help to reduce the inflammation across her. I'm sure there must also be a correlation. I think I said this in my 2025 predictions, but I'm sure there must be a correlation also with regards to inflammation in our world and her channels and her volcanoes and her gullies and her rivers and the earth and our bodies. So if you're somebody that suffers from inflammation, I'm sure it probably is playing up right now. But again, remember that analogy of the tap underneath you. Imagining yourself a bit like the tree or a big plant with roots. Allow the silver light, just literally imagining silver light around your rooting system to go in, cleanse it all. If there's any gunk there, as I said previously, just to momentarily ask Metatron or Sandalphon just to unscrew that plug, release it, and then it will be put back in. It's the anchor. And you need to ask Metatron or Sandalphon to do that because you have to remain anchored to Mother Earth. Okay, that's very important. Okay, right, anything else to say? So yes, envisioning Earth in the Merkaba. Envisaging yourself and your family and your home in the Merkaba. I've said this before, but with geographic changes that are happening across our globe, it's very frightening if you're in the front line, you know, and you're on a fault line or there's a volcano and you can see it and it's like my home is in the direct line of fire. I did do a video a few years ago where I was talking about the power of protection around a home, creating some form of grid or altar, which people always say to me, how do I do it? How do I do it? It's intention that does it. It's to do with creating a space in your home, which is asking the angels to watch over it, protect it, keep it safe. We saw that in the fires around LA. There were some homes that survived, some didn't. Sometimes it's not just random chance. Sometimes, and I know this because I've had ladies, there was one lady in particular, I think in the Caribbean, who wrote in and said, you know, and this was years ago, you know what, I made the grid, I did the altar, and my home was the only one that was standing in my street after the tornado had gone through or the hurricane or whatever it was. So you're not defenseless. And the most important thing to remember is you're not a victim. This card talked about not being a victim, victimhood being a lower energy. Don't see yourself, what does it say? It says, so it's asking you to step into the energy of forgiveness and a higher frequency, and letting go of the judgment and basically trying to be there for your neighbour and those who you fundamentally disagree with as well, not dissing them, not running off from them, not storming off, just trying to build the bridge. And it says, do this for you and for your own liberty as you become an unwitting hostage once you take the role of perpetrator or victim, both positions of weakness. You know, some of the channels that I see out there, particularly linked into USA politics, who are just, they've committed to another 4 years of just staying in a really low vibration of every single possible thing that could happen. Let's look at it from a place of fear. Oh my God, this has happened. Oh my God, he's going to do this. Oh my God, he's going to do that. 4 years. It's like they've signed a contract for 4 years to stay in that energy of, I'm not saying difficult things aren't happening. I'm sure they are. But it's like, it's almost like you're committed to only being able to see the problems, not maybe some little sheds of hope or unexpected things that you can't see, I can't see, no one can see, because it's called divine intervention, whatever it is, you know? So don't be a victim. Do not be a victim. As soon as you step into victimhood and, oh, poor me, poor my country, all of that, you are condemning yourself and you're condemning your country to that. Thank you very much to one of you. I think it was my last video. I put a short excerpt up, you know, one of these shorts, 3-minute excerpt, and I think it was something to do with asking us also to try to stay out of the drama of it all, you know. And okay, we've talked about difficult things in this video, but I'm not are not certainly not wanting us to turn into victims and like cowering little mice. You know, we're built for these times. We came to experience these shifts. We're powerful beings of light, and we have powerful beings such as Metatron, Christ, etc., who are with us through these changes. Mother Earth doesn't want to hurt us. She just needs to release and purge. Okay, but yeah, it was a video I was saying, you know, I know it's difficult, having said everything I've said in this video, but try to not be too overwhelmed. Take it day by day. You know, breathe, center, remember your spiritual wisdom and ability to be able to navigate through these very tricky waters. You know, try not to be too overwhelmed. And somebody straight away said, oh, it's all very well for you living in the UK, you don't get it, you're not in USA. And I replied lovingly, and I said to this lady, yeah, but you know, are you aware that I gave her a whole list of things that are happening, for example, in my country. Are you aware of all these things that are happening in the UK? It's not utopia over here, far from it. We've got a lot of very serious problems. I said, you're not the only country that's got difficulty. You know, we're all, you know, and what I'm saying and asking you to do is what I am doing here as well, because this is universal guidance and wisdom. And thank you so much, because actually this lady came back and she said to me, thank you so much. I had no idea all of that was going on in the UK. It's like when we take I see now that, yeah, you've got some issues there as well, you know, good luck, you know, it's like we both wished each other luck. But that's the point of it all. It's taking the blinkers off and seeing each other, not as separate, not as like this victim energy of like, oh, you know, we've got it the worst in the world. We're all in it together. What happens in USA affects what happens everywhere else. What happens somewhere else affects people in USA. Once we start to understand we are all connected, we're all in it together, actually, okay? And the biggest tool that we have at our disposal is to be able to raise our frequency. And when we raise our frequency, and one of the ways we can do that is through the act of forgiveness, through other acts such as, I don't know, compassion, stepping into grace, non-judgment, etc., gratitude, trying to look for the joy rather than the misery in everything. We don't just free ourselves, as that card said, we free each other. We free each other. Because put it this way, if you walk into a room and it's full of a load of people like, oh God, oh my God, you know, and this has happened and that's happened, and oh God, this is going to, you know, you're seeing, who wants to do that? You know, so it's like you've only got to have one person walk into that room who's got a different vibration, who's like, come on, guys, you know, come on, we can do this. Who's with me? You know, a bit of positivity. That affects everybody else in the room. Not some, because some will want to stay in the victim energy. But a lot of people be like, actually, yeah, you've reminded me. Yeah, you know, the sun is still shining. You know, I still have got a warm bed. I still have got a roof over my head. You know, it's still a beautiful world. I still got my faith in Jesus or the angels or whatever it is. I'm not abandoned. I'm not alone. I'm bloody lucky to be here. And I say that, as I say, I'm going to talk about this a lot because of the loss of my dear friend. Yeah, it's like, she didn't make it. She's not here. I'm still here. It's still a blessed world. Whatever happens, it's still a blessed life. You're still here. You're still alive. There's still hope. But definitely, Mother Earth right now, for the Empress energy to come through, for the Empress energy to take centre stage, she needs to do whatever she needs to do to birth it. Okay? But please let us do our bit to try and help balance her and all of these quakes and everything else that's going on by working on ourselves. Yeah. Remember, hate begets hate, love begets love. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I might just pull one card from this deck, actually. It might be a nice place to end, which is a deck, Angels and Ancestors. Might just be this one particular energy coming through to lend support or guidance right now, in addition, of course, to all of the beautiful energies we work with on this channel, particularly Jesus, Archangel Metatron, all of the archangels really. And I also want to bring in the Ashtar energy too, you know, because Ashtar, with regards to the whole galaxy as well. We've got the energy of the sun. It says enjoy success and happiness. That there is that energy, I was just saying it, which is that whatever is going on in your world, whatever is going on in our world, the sun. What's that song by the Stranglers? Always the Sun. That's a nice song. Oh, I'm just going to look up what the lyrics to that one are. Always the Sun by the Stranglers. Maybe we need to go off and listen to that. There's always the sun. There's always the sun. Yeah, you can read it up for yourself. I'll put it below. It's just a nice song to end on, really. There is always the sun. There is always the opportunity for a bit of happiness, a bit of joy. But I also feel as though there's something else I'm not quite getting. Hold on a minute. The sun. Why have we got the sun here? I mean, the sun is the solar energy, of course, isn't she? Let me just pull one more card that goes with it. Just feel there's one more message to come out. Hold on. What goes with the energy of the sun? We've got the Knight. Be brave and honest. Oh, that's a brilliant card to end on. We are the Knights. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Be brave, be honest, and stand in your power. Can you see how I hadn't quite got the message because I hadn't got him? So we are him. We are the Knights. Stand in your power. Solar power. Solar plexus energy. It's the solar plexus energy. We've got to fill that solar plexus energy with the beautiful golden rays, the sunlight, all of that. But definitely there's just energy of be brave and honest. And that's also to do with be brave and honest with yourself. Where am I selling myself short? Where am I not being the best version of myself that I can be? Where am I judging my brother or my sister? Where am I condemning my enemy? Where am I not listening? Where am I not God is what I'm hearing. Because the truth is we are all God in a body. We all have the God light within our body. So where am I not being that? And we're not being that when we're hating, judging, condemning, criticising, just being nasty. So let's raise our template and be more like this beautiful Empress energy, Goddess energy, fresh, fertile, open-eared, open-hearted, open-eyed, curious, inventive, creative, powerful, blooming, abundant, welcoming, inclusive, wise, steady, brilliant. Thank you, everybody. That's today's message. Take great care of yourself. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for your support. Give a little like if you've liked this video. Oh, just wanted to do a tick, little tick. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now. Bye.